Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, welcome everyone on the third session of the six session course on the journey of self discovery, teachings based on Bhagavad Gita. So, today we have a very special topic. Uh, who am I? Right. But before we actually go on to that, I think it would be good if we can kind of spend first 5 minutes on revising what we have learned so far. So in the first session was on like happiness equation or search for happiness, where we saw that there are four similarities between humans and animals, for example, like eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They all do as well. We all do. Right? So the only difference is that we can make spiritual inquiry, whereas they cannot. Right? So that was the first thing which we saw in the first session. Second thing which we saw was what is real happiness. So we saw the differences between real happiness and relative happiness. The third thing which we saw was the real problems of our life, which are birth, death, old age, and disease. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukh, doshanu, darshanam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. And the final one was how we can get out of this repeated cycle of birth and death. So we saw that we are like a lost son of a millionaire father. Krishna, of course, is our ultimate supreme father, and we're all forgetful of Krishna. So if we can revive our lost relationship with Krishna, we can be very happy, and we can kind of be actually or eternally happy. So that is what we saw in the first session, which was like search for happiness. In the last session or the second session, that was on God mystery. So we saw that there are few people who believe in God, and there are few people who don't believe in God, and there could be several motivations behind believing in God, in a way that uh, first could be desire. By desire, if someone is really hankering after a lot of material desires, he can then go to God. Then by fear of unknown, by fear of society, and as a matter of tradition, sometimes they do, right, family tradition and stuff like that. So we saw that, and we also saw there are reasons by which people don't believe in God. The first among that was there is no proof, right? If God is there, then show me the proof, right? The second thing was that I cannot see God. That means God doesn't exist. That was the second thing which we second reason with which people don't believe in God. And the third thing is that if God is there, then why people are fighting? There are so many bad things happening, people are poor, hungry, so there are so many uh, uh, problems in our life. So God, that means if God is not able to rectify it, then God doesn't exist. So in that way, we saw that. Then we also saw that what are the definitions of what is the definition of God, or what are the characteristics of God. So we saw that God is our supreme Father, supreme source in a way, then supreme proprietor. God is supreme enjoyer, and God is supreme controller. These are the four characteristics. So if we can find these in any one person who possesses all these characteristics, then he should be God. So we analyze these by different ways, in a way that he is the supreme enjoyer. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 5, text 29. He is the supreme source, text 10. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, text 8, he says, Aham sarva sabrabhavo, I am the source of everything. Krishna says that. And in that way, we realize that he fits very well in the definition of God. Then the last thing which we discussed in the last session was how we can know about God or about absolute truth and so forth. So we saw that there could be three different processes, for example, by which we can actually uh, realize or understand. First was pratyaksha praman, right? Seeing is believing by direct perception of our senses. But then we also saw that there are, because we are conditioned souls, so we are not perfect. So we have got four imperfections. And these four imperfections were, first was that our senses are imperfect, right? Our eyes, ears, skin, tongue, all these things are not perfect. And we saw several examples. Second was we have tendency to be illusioned, and we saw those fancy pictures where we couldn't actually make out what is happening, right? So we are under a lot of illusion, and the foremost illusion are is that what we are going to discuss today, about illusion about our own identity, right? So, and the third thing was that we have got cheating propensity, right? We try to cheat people, right? And we saw the examples of NASA, examples of this great pill down hoax, and like that. And the fourth imperfection, so imperfect senses, cheating propensity, tendency to get illusions, and we commit mistakes, right? We commit mistakes. So these were the four imperfections by which, so that we cannot perceive the supreme absolute truth by our uh, direct perception, by pratyaksh praman. Then we saw that, okay, anuman praman was the second thing. Okay, it could be like that, perhaps, maybe. These also will not work in understanding the absolute truth or the supreme person. The third thing was Shabda Praman. So Shabda Praman was when we hear from authority, from the right authority, when we hear, then we can understand what is what. Right? So in this way, these are the ways by which we can acquire knowledge about God. So we saw so far in the first two sessions some information on these things. So we can, I think, start today's session. So let me share the screen, and I hope this should be visible. So you can see, right, the screen as well. Right. So this is a very good question which we should all ask uh, ourselves. Actually, we don't ask. I mean, we don't care about what is our identity, because we understand that. Yeah, I mean, I know who am I. Right? That is the misconception. But before we come to this actual question, we would kind of take from where we left. So I think we already covered this. So we will kind of we'll skip this. Yeah, and then the definition of God: supreme source, proprietor, enjoyer, controller, and then there are three processes by which we can acquire knowledge about God. We saw pratyaksh, anuman, and shabda pramana. Okay, so in this section, we have got these many subsections. Why we should put faith in scriptures, who am I, what is the proof for existence of soul, how many bodies do we have, and FAQs. Okay, so why should we put our faith on scriptures? Hmm. This, like, people say that Shastra, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Upanishad, Puranas, Samhitas, these, that. Who saw? Who saw? Who wrote this? So I don't know. I mean, it is okay that we put faith. Just hold on. Let me okay, reshare the screen because something went wrong. Okay. Uh, so why should we put our faith on scriptures? So this is the one example which by which this example we can learn. So for example, if there is a small child and he or she wants to know who is her father, for example, what should she do? Right? So one possibility is that she would just go and do genetic testing, right? Which generally gets on to Pratyaksha Praman or Anuman Praman, right? So assuming that we test only 10% of males on this planet, it would take at least, we have to kind of screen at least 250 million males, right? Assuming an average testing time of 100 seconds, 800 years if you do non-stop testing. So basically, this is something which is nearly impossible, right? So, what is the easier way out? The easier way out is just to ask mother, right? Who is my father? Very simple, right? We all can understand. That is called a Shabda Brahman. So, because mother is authority, she knows, right, who is her father. So, she can introduce her to her father in that way. So we should have, why we should have faith in scriptures? Because God is our supreme father, we all know this, but scriptures are like our mother. They connect us with God. So why Bhagavad Gita is so important? Because Bhagavad Gita, if we consider Krishna is our father, Bhagavad Gita is just like our mother who can connect us with our supreme father. So the same applies with other scriptures as well, who teaches us about God, about God's characteristics, God's names, forms, pastimes, all these things. So scriptures, why they are so important, right? Because we can take this simple example, for example, that uh, to get knowledge in any field, right? We refer to a book. For example, if there is an engineering student and the engineering student wants to learn fluid mechanics, then he must refer to that particular book. Or there is a doctor and he wants to study human anatomy, then he has to study human anatomy book, right? So this is very simple to understand. So uh, but the problem with us is that we all think that we know everything about God. The moment we ask anyone that can you speak about God, then he can speak, just like he can just go on and on and on, right? For several hours he can speak without even realizing a pinch of it, without even knowing whether he's actually speaking, which is coming from some bona fide source, or he's just bluffing. He doesn't know or she doesn't know, but still anyone can speak on God. That is the real problem which we have these days, that people can speak on God just like that, because they think that this is something which is very easy and very cheap, right? Anyone can understand God, anyone can speak about God, but it is not like that. Like for example, if I belong, like for example, I belong to pharmaceuticals field, right? If someone asks me about engineering field or mechanical engineering, I do not know, right? I have to study these books, right? I can only speak about things which I know, right? Similarly, but here there is an exception. If we talk about spiritual science, about God, everyone thinks that he or she knows everything and he can speak on anything. That is our problem, especially in India. This is something which we see, right? So as I was speaking earlier, so scriptures are like our mother and God is our supreme father, right? So uh, we should hear from scriptures which is coming through Guru Shishya Parampara, right? Which is called as disciplic succession, right? uh, so for example, nobody would argue when we actually were in school, right? When the teacher used to teach us that 2 plus 2 equals to 4, we don't argue with the teacher because she is an authority, right? 5 plus 5 equals to 10, so we don't argue, right? That how can you see, can you prove this, that? No, because once she says, she knows, we believe. That's the authority. Similarly, if, because she learned from her teacher and her teacher learned from her teacher, so that's why this is called as disciplic succession. So if the knowledge is coming in disciplic succession without any change modification, right, then we can understand that that is how it is. Similarly, we saw last time that Krishna, first of all, imparted this knowledge in the heart of Brahma. And then Brahma instructed to his disciple, Narad Muni. Narad Muni instructed to Vyasadeva. In this way, the knowledge is coming up to her, to us, right? And 5,000 years back, Vyasadeva again wrote it back in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we will see that this is the right way of getting the knowledge, which is called as descending process. One process is ascending process, where you go on assuming things, and you go on top. And the second process is descending process, where the knowledge is safely being handed over to the disciple, right, in due faith. Then that disciple gives knowledge to his disciple, and so forth. So that is the right way of understanding the science on God, or spiritual science. Okay, now we will take today's topic, which is who am I, or who are you? So, if someone asks us this very simple question, right, like I have recently made one short video, and you can find this on the YouTube channel Ultimate Shelter, also, where it's like a 5 minutes video where most of some of the examples are common. What I'm going to show here as well. So basically, if someone asks us that who are you, then what would be our answer? We would probably say that my name is this, or I'm a man, or I'm an engineer, or I would say I'm an Indian, like that. These are the few examples or few answers which we obviously give, right? So today we will, or someone say no, I'm Gujarati. Someone say I'm Marathi. I am from UP, and like that. Right? So we'll come to that in a while. So Dr. Harry Monson, professor of anatomy in Illinois College of Medicine in the US, he measured these different human body contents. So of course we all know mostly it is water. So in a 60 pounds person, there are calcium, 5 pounds phosphate, potassium, sulfur, sodium, magnesium, iron, copper, iodine. So all these elements are there, right? And water and all these things. So he said that if we summarize all these things, then what is the worth of our body? The worth, total worth of our human body is 510 rupees. So we will laugh at these and you'll say, what is this? My body? And or some of you will say, no, 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 but I am not 60 pounds. I am a little more chubby. I am a little more obese, right? Okay, then your weight, your worth could be 600 rupees or 700 rupees. But that's not the point, right? The point is that are we just 500 rupees worth? Are we just 600 rupees worth? We are sure we are not, right? Then we are missing some very important point here if we are just talking about body, right? That is something which we will discuss today. So are we just bundles of chemicals which are aligned together by chance and are exhibiting different emotions, feelings, and so forth? Sometimes we are very happy, sometimes we feel we are in love, sometimes we are shocked, sometimes we are depressed, anxiety. All these feelings are just coming like that. Sometimes we are fighting, right? So what is life? Right? We should ask this question. So basically, just a moment, let me put. So basically, and what is death? These are fundamental questions which we must know, right? No one likes dead body, right? We either bury it, we burn it, or whatever. So where is that active force which is coming, right? So we should understand these things, right? So don't you feel we are more than just chemicals which constitute this body? If so, then what is our actual identity? These are the questions which are actually subject of spiritual matters. Okay, so for example, I'll give you another example. Yeah, just like this. So let's say, for example, if we have seen this man who met an accident and he is in a very expensive car, the car costs around 70, 80 lakhs of rupees, for example, right? And the man is lying there, right? And he's unconscious. Then you are, and there is no one out there, and you are the only one passing by, and you saw there is a tragic accident, and so you have got two options, right? Will you take the man to the hospital, or and you also saw that the car is also severely damaged, or you will take the car to the garage? Of course you will not think about the car, you will think about the man, right? Then you will take him to the hospital, right? But the body costs only 500 rupees, so this is only 510 rupees, right? And the car costs 70 lakhs rupees. So what is valuable? Okay, second case, I give you two options. I have one box where I have 500 rupees, right? Or one gift where I have got 500 rupees, and I have got one box where I have got 50 lakhs rupees. Which one will you accept? Of course, 50 lakhs rupees. 500 rupees is still, you will not accept. So what is this happening? Why are we actually so much into that person who is just 500 rupees worth body, right? Right. So uh, if we are just body, right, then if we are not just the body, then inside the body there has to be something which is more valuable, right? So what is that? Okay, scriptures say that we are not this body, but we are spirit, soul. We are soul, atma, right? In Sanskrit it is called as atma, Hindi also atma, right? So we are not this body. Scriptures say that, and we will see by several evidences, right? So when we hear about this word Atma, right, soul, we think that, oh, we've heard this so many times. Right? It's a suna sa shabd, right? I've heard this, I know this about this, right? Some people they firmly believe this, that yes, 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 we are soul, we are not body, we are soul, right? But there is not a pinch of realization, not even a pinch of realization, right? Please don't feel bad, but this is fact, right? Not a single of us, we actually, single one of us, we actually realize that we are soul. We just, maybe some of us believe, so for some of us this could be a completely surprise. Oh, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. Okay, and some of you may be knowing this, but unfortunately none of us is even realizing that, or even realizing or living the life according to that. We're just at the platform of our body. And how, why, we will see that in a while. So why this is happening? One of the reasons is that when we go in front of mirror, what do we see? We see this body, we don't see the soul, right? Then if we don't see that, then why would we believe it, right? That is one of the reasons, right? So how do we understand this? Then if we cannot see the soul, then how do we understand that? That also will come in a moment. So today we will try and understand by several ways and means the evidence that we are spirit soul. And I can challenge you that before you leave this meeting, right, you will be convinced that you are soul and you are not this body, right? And if not, of course you can ask, but don't please feel please don't feel bad that, or don't be afraid that, oh, today will be a shocking thing for me. No, 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 no. It's a good thing to have. To be in the soul consciousness is a very good thing to be in, instead of being on the bodily consciousness, right? Okay. So material point of view is that we are all different bodies made up of matter, right? Everything is finished when we are dead. This is the material point of view, right? Bhautik Siddhant. But Adhyatmic, spiritual point of view is what? That we are not this material body of flesh and bones. We are spirit soul encaged in the material body. A soul which is trapped inside the body, and the body could be very fancies depending on our karma. Like, for example, an elephant. Oh, sorry about this sound. Like an elephant, for example, a turtle, a man, a cow, whatever. Right? So we do not die when the material body stops to function. This is the entire process of law of karma, science of reincarnation. All these things is centered around this soul entity that we will see. So this is the very famous shloka from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 61, where Krishna gives this example of a machine. Right? Krishna says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddeshe arjun tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantrarudhani mayaya. Yantrarudhani, yantra, Krishna says machine. Right? So here is the example. Uh, our body is like a car. It's compared with a yantra, like a car, like a machine. For example, we have got mouth to speak, a car has got horn to sound, we have got eyes to see, headlights there, heart to pump the blood, radiator to supply water, hands and legs to move, four wheels to move, right? But what is the difference? If I have got a very expensive car worth 50 lakhs rupees, for example, and if it is staying in the parking lot, if I will not go inside, or if a driver will not go inside, will the car move even 1 inch? No, car cannot move without driver. Very simple to understand, right? Very, very simple to understand. But so in the same way, uh, our body is just like a car, and the soul is the actual entity which is there, which can move my hand now, right? Which can move my leg, my body, this, that, all these movements, all whatever I am, we are seeing functioning. I am able to speak. You are able to listen to. That is because of the soul. Right? So the car cannot budge 1 inch without the driver. The body cannot function even for a second without the soul, and we all understand that. So we will see that in a while. It's a very, very nice story which I also explain in that short video which is there on the YouTube. That there was one lady, right? She had this very nice golden cage, right? And she got a very nice bird, parrot, for example, right?
She was really attached too much to the cage. She really liked the cage. She polished the cage. She colored the cage, and she used to make it clean. And she just completely got absorbed in the cage, and she forgot the parrot. She forgot to feed the parrot, to take care of the parrot. So what happened? Slowly, the parrot died because she didn't give anything to. Didn't give anything to the parrot. Nothing to drink, nothing to eat. Then after a few days, the bird died. So we should also understand our soul is like this bird. We should ask ourselves entire day and night, what are we doing? We are just combing ourselves, we are applying makeups, we are trying to do facials, we are trying to wear good clothes so that we look good, we are trying to go to saloons, we try to apply cosmetics, this, that, everything about body. What about soul? So we are polishing the cage, but we are not feeding the bird, the parrot. Hmm. This is a very good analogy, which we should all understand. That's what is mentioned here. So we think of something that we are not means we are crazy. That we should understand. Uh, so we are thinking that we are body, but we are not actually bodies. That means we are crazy. Like for example, if a person says that I am an elephant, I am an elephant, I am an elephant, then uh, what kind of person he is then? He's crazy because he's not elephant, he is man, right? Similarly, if we say that we are body, we don't say that, but we actually mean that. How? We will see that in a while. That, but we don't realize that we are soul. That means we are crazy. We are mad people. Okay, so we have seen that I am not the body but an eternal soul, the second part. So before we go to the third part, we will chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So if you have any questions, you can type in the chat box as we go, or we can you can ask at the end as well, in Hindi, in Gujarati, in English, whatever language you are comfortable with. Okay, what is the proof? The third question comes, what is the proof? Okay, you said that we are not this body, we are soul. Okay, fine, but how can you prove that, right? How can you prove? So let us see what is the proof. What is the proof for existence of the soul? So we will try and see these in different ways. First is logic, second is science, and third is scriptures. We will try and see in all different ways we understand, we come to the same conclusion that we are not this body, but we are soul, we are spirit soul, right? Atma. Let us see. Okay, so this is a very nice story. We have seen one movie. So let us take one movie star, Shah Rukh Khan, for example. Shah Rukh Khan was there in one movie, and Shah Rukh Khan's father was critically ill. Let's hypothetically assume. Right? So, and in the movie, Shah Rukh Khan went to the doctor, and doctor was Amitabh Bachchan. And Shah Rukh Khan said to Amitabh Bachchan that, "Oh doctor, please save my father. He's really ill. So you are going to operate him, but please save him. I can spend any amount you say." So because he was very rich, so he can say, "Please save me. Whatever you want, I will give you." And then Bachchan said that, "Okay, I will try my best." And then the operation got started, and the red light, right? Red light got started. After a few hours, he came and he said to Shah Rukh Khan, "Sorry, he's no more." And then the entire family started crying. So when the doctor said he is no more, who is no more? The body is still lying there. The father's body is still lying there on the operation table itself, right? And so why these guys are crying? They can go and see him, but they don't want to see the body, right? They want something which is gone. What is that thing which is gone? That is soul. So when someone say he has passed away, who has passed away? The body is still lying there. That means they didn't actually see. I mean, the hero didn't actually see his real father, who was not the body, who was soul, which is now gone to his onward journey. It is as simple as that. So we all can understand. Okay, so this is logic. Then let us do some introspection. Right? Introspection. Let's say, for example, uh, I mean, we do this in an offline mode. We do this in by some exercise, by activity, but in online it's not possible. So I will do it by myself. Right. So when I will ask you to raise your hand, you will do this. My hand, and I will ask you to point out at your left shoulder. You will say, "This is my left shoulder." When I will ask you to point out at your forehead, you will say, "This is my forehead." I will ask you to point at your heart. You will say, "This is my heart," somewhere here, right? And then I will ask you to point at you. What will you do? This is me, right? This is my body, and this is me. Same thing, right? So we should ask this question to us. When we say my body, when we say my hand, my leg, what is that my? What is that I? Do we say I body, I leg, I hand? If we say this, right, and the people say this guy is crazy. What is he speaking? That means I am different from this body. I am saying my body, right? This is my body, right? Then what is that? What is that I? That is soul. Soul's body. So we are actually soul, which has got this body to facilitate speaking, walking, this, that. So body is a lump of matter, right? But the actual living principle is soul. That is something which we all should understand, right? So this is how we can understand by logic, common sense, introspection. Now let us see science, what science says about soul, right? So near death experiences, Dr. Michael Sebum, he studied a number of cases of near death experience. Near death experience is uh, defined as something where the patient is critically ill, is almost dead, right? And he just almost gone, he was almost gone, and then again came back into consciousness. That means the soul somehow was about to leave, but because of some reasons he came back to the consciousness. And so there were few patients who described exactly, so they were all unconscious, right? They didn't know anything. And the doctors were observing the vital functions, right? The blood pressure, ECG, and heart rates and all these things. They were measuring all these things, and they were completely a subconscious or kind of in coma or whatever. But they, after they got recovered, they came back into the life. They actually narrated the entire story, that you did this, you did that, and doctor was completely taken away. How is it possible? How did he know that? So this is some exceptional cases where there are near-death experiences, and there are so many such cases which the doctor has studied, right? Where the patient observed a sense of being dead, sensation of floating above one's body and seeing the surrounding area, and like that, something like that. Second thing is reincarnation. Now, reincarnation, right? If we talk about reincarnation, many people they say, "Oh, these are all like mythology. These are all like foolish stories. How can we reincarnate? This is like once the body is gone, everything is gone." But no, people reincarnate. Reincarnation, punarjanma, has been mentioned in Bhagavad Gita at so many places and in scriptures at so many places. But modern science also confirms this. Dr. Ian Stevenson, right, is a professor of psychiatry in West Virginia in the US. He has studied more than 2,000 cases of reincarnation, right, with proof, uh, and it is still a matter subject of research for many such doctors. Let us take this one true live example. Now, this is like a real example, real world example. There was a small girl named as Shukla uh, in Orissa, right? A 6 years old girl. From the very beginning of her childhood, she was speaking about she was speaking about the name of a village in Orissa. So her father initially ignored, but then as she grew, she started actually being adamant that I wanted to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there. So her father said that okay, let us go there because it was not very far. So when they reached the station, railway station, she, without informing anyone, she started walking as if she knew all the ways and everything. And her father, of course, followed her. And finally she reached she entered inside a village, and she reached to a home. But uh, she just stood in front of a wall. So her father was thinking, what is she doing? Why is she standing in front of a wall? Then slowly few people came, and they called the landlord of that particular home, and they all came and they said, "What is this happening?" He said, "My daughter is coming and standing here like that." Said, and they said, "Oh, actually, there was a door here before. Actually, this was reversed. But then after the death of my daughter-in-law, right, of uh, my son's wife, she died. We closed this door by a wall, and we made the entry on the other side." So, and then of course she confirmed the son's name and all these things. So she was that daughter-in-law, which is named here Mana Chakravarti, who reincarnated as Shukla. But somehow she remembered that. Somehow. So these are, and this is just one example. There are several such examples, which again proves that soul accepts another body. Right? Okay, now let's talk about the scripture. Right, at the end, scripture. So, what is the most uh, reliable scriptures on this? Of course, Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Krishna actually starts the message to when Arjuna was perplexed that, oh, how can I kill Pitama? How can I kill my guru? How can I kill my cousin, right? My brothers. And Krishna said, don't worry, they are not this body, they are soul. And even if you will kill, they will not be killed because soul has not got any death. Soul is eternal. So Krishna said, Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namoyati. Dehino asmin yatha dehe. Krishna says, in this day, which is the body, there is one dehi, and dehi means the one who resides inside the deh, right? Just like we change our body from kaumaram, yauvanam, and jara. Kaumaram means youthhood, or like in childhood. Yauvanam means youthhood, and jara means when we are old. So we all realize that, like for example, if you ask me, or if I ask you, what was your weight when you were 6 years old? You would say maybe, I don't know, 20 kilo, right? What was your weight when you were like 14 years? And height, well, height maybe around 4 feet, and weight maybe around 40 kilo. And what is your weight and height now? Maybe 6 feet and maybe 70 kilograms. That means our body is changing, you see. Our body is still changing in this life only. So Krishna says, Tatha Dehantar Praptir. Just in the same way, you see we see in the picture here. Let me put the laser. This is a very nice picture which Prabhupada has asked the devotees to paint. You see here there is an infant which is grown, a small child further grown. You see here maybe around 2 years, then 5 years, then maybe 8 years, then 15 years, I mean 12, 15 years, then around 18 years, maybe 25 years, 35 years, 45 years, 70 years, 90 years, and dead. This is the cycle. You see, the body is still changing, but the soul here is not changing, it's the same. Right? Like the way I have changed my body, but if for you have also changed your body. But if I will show you your childhood picture, would you be able to recognize? Of course, because you know that this is my picture. Although the body has changed, but you see, you still recognize that yes, this is me. Why? Because the soul has not changed, only the body has changed. So Krishna says, Tatha Dehantar Praptir Dhiras Tatra Muyati. Tatha Dehantar. So just like the way that when this body is useless and without, and the body will not be of any use, the soul gets another body. Like for example, if someone has a terrible accident, right, and the soul thinks that now this body is no longer useful, then it is called as death. And then the soul immediately takes the next body. Right. So Krishna says, Dhiras tatrana muyati. So dhir, so intelligent person by such change will not be agitated. So Arjun, you should not be agitated. Just fight. So this is the first message which Krishna gives to Arjuna. So life after death is fiction or fact? course, it is fact. It's not a fiction. It's another picture, another representation of the same message which we already uh, seen. So we have seen proof of existence, logic, science, and scriptures. Okay, now we go to the next session. Before that, we will chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. How many bodies do we have? How many bodies? So that is the fourth. Uh, so the correct answer is that we have got three bodies. Right? You say, oh come on, I am seeing only one body. How come there are three bodies? So hang on, we'll come to that. How? So Bhagavad Gita says, right, there is one inferior material body which has got gross body and a subtle body. Gross body in Hindi or Sanskrit means sthul sharir, and subtle body means sukshma sharir. Gross body is something which we are seeing. This is our gross body, which is made up of Panch Mahabhut. We all know this: earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? Jal, Prithvi, Agni, Vayu, Akash. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 4. Bhumi rapo analo vayu kham mano buddhi revacha ahankar iti yamme bhinna prakriti ashtada. Krishna says Bhumi, earth, Bhumi apo means water, analo means fire, Bhumi apo analo vayu means air, and kham matlab kham means ether, sky. And man, buddhi, ahankar. Right? Kham, mano, buddhi, revacha, ahankar. Man, buddhi, and ahankar, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are subtle bodies. So we will see that in a while in a form of picture, so that you can maybe easily understand. It's just a pictorial diagram. So what we see here is only gross body. Like I can see only your gross body, which is superficial body, which we generally see. But it doesn't mean that we don't have subtle body. Like for example, you don't see my mind, but that doesn't mean I don't have mind. I have mind, but you cannot see it. I can see, I cannot see your intelligence, but it doesn't mean that you don't have intelligence. It's the same way, subtle body is something which, that is why it is called a subtle, sukshma. We cannot see it by any microscope, anything. And gross body is sthul, that we can see. But this is inferior material body, that is bhautik sharir, right? In inferior, right? And there is superior spiritual body, which is called as soul, right? Which is Sat, Chit, and Anand, right? Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, and Anand means bliss. Whereas this body, this inferior material body is Asat, means not eternal. It is subjected to death. Then Achit means it is in complete ignorance. We don't know, we don't have complete knowledge, and it is Nirananda, means it is not blissful. Whereas spiritual body or soul is eternal knowledge and bliss, but currently it is covered by a material body. Right? So when we talk about eternal, right, soul is eternal, of course, but we are not eternal. Right? The material body. See, by the way, I don't know if you're aware, fundamentally, and this is something which I think many of you might be hearing for the very first time in your life. Every one of us, live for 100 years. You will say, oh, come on, what are you saying? Everyone, yes, everyone lives for 100 years. Everyone lives for 100 years, whether it is human being or an ant or a dog or a cat, everyone lives for 100, or even Brahma, they live for 100 years. I will say, oh, no, you are just saying like that. It's not possible. So the answer is, it is called as theory of relativity. That means 100 years are different. For Brahma, 100 years are different. And for us, 100 years are different, right? So even a small ant also live for 100 years, but the 1 year, duration of 1 year is much smaller as compared to our 1 year. Like for example, in Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned, Sahastra Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Vidu. Right? 1,000 Chaturyug is Brahma's 12 hours, 1 day. And the same way, 1,000 Chaturyug is Brahma's 1 night, 12 hours. And 1,000 Chaturyug, okay, I'll tell you what is the duration of one Chaturyug. In one Chaturyug, first is Satya Yuga, then Treta, then Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is 4,32,000. Dwapar Yuga is 4,32,000 years, by the way. Then Dwapar Yuga is 8,64,000 years. Then Treta is 12,096, yes, 12,096,000 years into 3. And 432 into 4, which is around 17 lakhs years, that is called as the duration of Satya Yuga. If you combine all, it is 43 lakhs 20,000 years. That is the duration of one Chatur Yuga. So 43 lakhs 20,000 years into 1,000. That means 430 crores, something like that. 430 crores years is Brahma's 12 hours. That means 860 crores years is Brahma's one day. Such are 30 days in 1 month of Brahma, and 12 months in 1 year, and 100 years. So Brahma lives for such 100 years. So you can imagine the life of Brahma, lifespan of Brahma. We cannot even imagine. It's long, long, long life. But like for example, there are few flies, right? And these flies, in especially in monsoon, they take birth in the night, on the same day, right? They make friends, they do they they marry with someone, they buy produces, they produce kids, they have sex life, everything, and then in the morning they are gone, they are dead. So only few hours life, right? But if they think that, oh, this human being, they live for 100 years, oh, then you see, in the calculation of that fly, our life is so big. Similarly, in our calculation, Brahma's life is so big, but in the calculation of eternity, it is nothing. It is just a flash, because it is not eternal. Brahma is also subjected to death, that we will see in subsequent sessions. So we are not eternal, right, when we are in material body, but soul is eternal. Yes. So that is something which we have to understand. So the advantage of understanding that we are soul, here is the advantage, that we know that we are not going to die, right? Whether corona comes, or corona's father comes, or corona's grandfather comes, we are not going to die, right? Because we are soul, right? We will just change the body. When we have this consciousness, then we will not have that much fear of death, right? Which is very, very important. And of course, there are several other advantages which we'll see in a while. So we have three bodies, as we've already seen. So the analogy could be that, like for example, this coat, right? This we see this coat is just like an gross body, but inside the coat is another shirt. For example, that shirt is subtle body, but inside the shirt is the real person. So this, and this is the same example Krishna gives in chapter 2, text 22 as well, which will come in a while, which is the example of a garment. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihai. And then inside that we have spiritual body, a soul. So we have got in this way three bodies. So just it doesn't mean that it is actually like this, just a pictorial way of understanding that first layer is gross body, then we have subtle body, and then actually inside we have soul. Right. So like that. Okay, so these are the three bodies we have. Right. So we go to the last session and we are on time. We have still got like around 15 minutes, so 20 minutes. We chant again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. FAQs, frequently asked questions about the soul. So I think many of you might have few questions on the soul. So we have taken few questions which you may have already in your mind. So maybe this will help you. Okay, first question. What happens to us after death? So Krishna says, this example I was speaking about. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihai navani granati naro parani tatha sharinani vinay jirnani anyani sanyati navani dehi. Krishna says that the soul leaves the gross body behind and takes the another womb based on the quality of desire stored in the subtle body at the time of death. So Krishna says, as a person puts on new dresses, just like the way like for example, I have this kurta, right? So when this kurta will be old, like, so currently this kurta is maybe 1 year old, for example, right? And I am wearing it. But in 2025, when this kurta will be 5 years old, right? I may not wear it. and I because it will be very very old. The colors will be lost. There will be some holes inside, right? And I will not like wearing it. So then, will I cry for it? Oh, my kurta is gone. No, I will just change this. I will just leave this kurta and wear a new kurta. Exactly the same way when this for the soul, the body is just like a cloth for a soul. It's like a garment. So when the garment or the cloth is of no longer usable, then the soul takes another garment. Right? Navani Sharanani. Right? Navani Dehi. Right? Just like that. Anyani Sanyati. As a person puts on new dresses, giving up the old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Very simple. You see, Lord Krishna, such precise example he gives. Very, very easy to understand, right? That what happens to us after death? We take another body. Simple. When we say we, remember, when we say we, it means soul. So now you should practice this. You all should practice this. When you say I, you should, oh, I mean soul. I mean soul. You should all realize this, right? We all should. Another example. This is also very popular shloka. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayanti apo, na shoshati maruta. So soul. So someone will say, but I will be buried or I will be burned when I will die. But soul cannot be burned by fire. Soul cannot be moistened by water. Soul cannot be cut into pieces by any weapon. You cannot do anything with the soul. Soul is eternal and it will remain to be. You cannot just kill the soul, right? Ajo api, Krishna says that, what is the sloka? Chapter 2, text 20. Uh, Anyhow, I'm forgetting. But Krishna says that for the soul, there is never birth, never death. Right. Okay, third question. No, sorry, second question. Is the soul in every body, the same soul? Hmm, right. Okay, but I forgot to narrate one very nice story on this about death. Right. So, as we have seen that when we leave this body, right, we get another material body. But there is a clause. There is a special condition supply. You see, if we remember Krishna's names, that is why we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If we remember Krishna's name, if we remember God's name at the time of death, hmm, then we do not accept another material body. We go to back to our original. Then the soul will say, no, 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 sorry, sorry, tata, bye bye. No, I don't need any material body. I'm going to my original home, spiritual world with Krishna, and I will live eternally, forever. I will not come here again. Hmm. So, in that way, in this way, when we remember Krishna at the time of death. So there is a very nice story, which is Ajamil's story, which comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. Ajamil was is a good, pious Brahmin, but uh, due to bad association of a prostitute, he lost his character, and then he got four children from her. Uh, and then he was involved in all sinful activities. So he was sure to go to Yamraja and go to hellish planets. But somehow he, his youngest son, he named as Narayan. And he was very much attached to his youngest son. He used to call always, Narayan, please do me this. Narayan, please come here. Narayan, please play with me. Narayan, please take this. Narayan, please have this. So in this way, he was always attached to Narayan. So when the death came, he was saying Narayan, and then he left his body. That means the last word which he spoke, he was not thinking about Narayan actually. He was thinking about his son, but he said just Narayan word. And then Vishnu Dutas came. Yamdutas, they had a discussion, a long discussion with Yamdutas, and he said, no, you cannot touch this man because he actually chanted the name of Lord Narayan. Wow. And then Yamdutas just went away and he was carried to Vaikuntha. Right? Just by chanting Narayan's name, right? Without any intention, right? That is the beauty of Krishna's name, you see. So there was one person like this, very intelligent person, and he also did this journey of self-discovery course. And he heard this story. He said, "Oh, really?" Hmm. Then what he did, he also had four sons. So he renamed four sons to like Vasudev, Sankarshan, Anirudh, Pradyumna. Ajamir had only one son, right? Ajamir had only one son, Narayan, but I have now four sons. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Anirudh, Pradyumna. At least I will remember once when I will die. So now I am guaranteed. So he continued all the sinful activities and he wanted to, he said that when I will die, right, I will somehow manage. I mean, I will remember at least one name I will remember, and I'll go to Vaikuntha. So he wanted to cheat in this way. So actually, that he was on his deathbed and he called Vasudev, and he was a big businessman, by the way. So he called Vasudev, Anirudh, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and they all came. And then he was really worried. He said, "Oh, all four of you are here. Then, if all four of you are here, then who is handling our business? You fools, you should not come. Only one of you should come. You all four came here. Now, who is handling our business?" And then he died. You see? So, that consciousness was not there. So, we cannot cheat Krishna like that. So, we just have to live through our entire life by chanting God's name. Then and then only we can achieve the goal of life. That's just a realization or learnings which we take from this. Okay. Uh, so based on our karma, we prepare for our next body. That's the learning. The next question is that is the soul in everybody the same soul? Like your soul, I mean you, I, same? No. Each soul is different. Each soul is different. Like Krishna says, Hmm. In the same, Krishna says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in future shall any of us cease to be. That means we are unique, individual. You are individual, I am individual, all of us are individual souls, and they are different than each other. And the super soul, Paramatma, is also different. It's not that Atma and Paramatma, they are both same. No. Paramatma, super soul, is Krishna, and he is supreme soul, and we are subservient souls. And we are subordinate souls. Right? We are very minute. Uh, right? In quality, we are same. In quality, the soul, which is like soul and super soul, are same, but in quantity, huge difference. This is called as achintya bheda bhed theory. That means it is inconceivably one and different, same and different. That means in quality we are same with God, but in quantity God is vibhu, we are anu. God is supremely huge and like great, and we are very tiny, very teeny. Like an example, like we are like a drop of an ocean, and Krishna is like an ocean. See, it's the same in quality. If you study the chemical constitution of a drop of an ocean, is the same as ocean, right? But in quantity, there is no comparison at all. Just like that. So we must understand this in this way. Third question: does the soul have a form? Yeah, soul has a form. Soul has a form. And soul gives form to matter, just like the way there's a very good analogy, right? uh, dead body dead body, right, cannot conceive, right, but a soul is living entity can conceive, right? When man and woman unite and the soul, right, in form of sperm, when it meets the egg, and then a new soul comes, you see. So soul gives rise to soul, right? Soul gives form to matter. So life has come from life. Life doesn't come from matter. Right? That is completely a foolish theory and phenomenon. So, right. So material conception is that because we cannot see soul, that means it doesn't have any form. But no, that is not true. Soul has got a form. Right? Just like the way this cell phone, for example, or this glass, it has got a form. Who gave this matter a form? A soul. There has to be a designer. Someone prepared this, right? Of course machine was used, but who handled the machine? You see, a soul, a person, a human, right? That we must understand. Only the soul can give form to the matter. Where does the soul reside? in the body, where does it reside? Krishna says, Hriddeshu Arjun Tishtati. Ishwar Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshu. Krishna says, Sarvasya Chaham Hrivi Sannivishto. In chapter 15, text 15, Krishna says, soul resides in the region of heart. Right. So, um, uh, it is very unique that although the soul resides in heart, but his presence is felt everywhere, right? Because the soul is probably somewhere here, but we can also, like for example, this is my feast, which I am now making a feast, right? I am just waving my hand, right? I am scratching my head. All these things I can do because of presence of soul. So the feeling or the consciousness is felt throughout the body, although it is present in the region of soul, in the region of heart, right? So that is something we must understand as well. And the last question, and then we will conclude. We are on very good time, very good timing. What is the size of the soul? Size of the soul. So it is mentioned in the scripture, Keshagrasa Shatada Kalpitasya. So you take the so like this gentleman has got a very unique hairstyle, and I like it. Or I don't know, it's a lady or man, I don't know. So like you take the tip of the hair, you tip of the hair, tip of the hair, you break it into 1/100th part. Then take one part, further break into 1/100th part, and take one part. That means 1/10,000th tip of the hair. Oh, this is unique. This is this is micromolar, nano, or this is like micron, nano, pico, femto, atto. I don't know what is the size. You see, it is such small that we cannot see. We cannot see, but we can feel the presence. Even in an ant, it's the same soul, same size. In ant, in an elephant, in a fish, big whale, humans, they all got soul of the same size. Okay, the last part is how can we see the soul? How can we see the soul? So, can we see oil in the oil seeds? Well, yeah, no, yeah, no. Hmm. Can we see ghee in the milk? Well, in a way, no, but in a way, yes. Can we see sugar in sugar cane? Well, directly no, but indirectly yes. How? Yes, through a process. Through a process, we can see this. The same way we can see the soul, but through a process. And what is that process? That is spiritual practice. So, material science, all in material science also we have aim, apparatus, theory, process, procedure, observation, and then conclusion, right? This is the way we see. So the aim is to see the soul, apparatus which is spiritual apparatus, theory study of scripture, procedure mantra meditation, which we will take in the few sessions, next sessions. Observation is to see the soul, and conclusion is the soul can be seen by spiritual practices. What are the advantages of knowing about the soul? Hmm. If we know that I am not this body, I am soul, what advantage will I have? Okay. So, advantage is that we will get real happiness. And actually, you will see that. Right? Many devotees who actually are living on the level of soul, on soul consciousness, they are actually happy. Why? Because they have nothing to lose, they have nothing to fear. They are actually understanding the real identity. They are in real knowledge. They are not in illusion. The biggest illusion which I was talking about, biggest brahm, is that I am this body. The biggest mistake which we are doing in our life, biggest mistake, right? Whereas the knowledge is that I am not this body, I am soul, entrapped in this body, which is for few years. And all my wife, my teacher, my father, mother are just like passengers I meet during traveling of a journey. Just like they, just like, or for example, you have seen this act, right? This drama, and there are in the drama there are father, mother, sister, lover, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, children. They play they play the drama for maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, and then they go on in their own life, right? Same way we are just on a drama platform, right, where we have our family, our this, our that, only for how many years? For only for few years. And then next life, we don't know where we are, where my wife is, all these Saat Janmo Ka Bandhan and these and that. They're all very much filming, right? We do not know, because we do not know after this life where the husband is going and where the wife is going. But the devotees know where they are going. We will come to that in next sessions. The next advantage, that we will see forgiveness. We will not feel about insults. Someone was asking how to control anger, how to bear with the insults, right? So when someone insults us, right, when someone doesn't give us respect, right, it is okay. We can tolerate. Why? Because they are not disrespecting the soul. They are disrespecting the body. Whom I am in any way. I am not the body. So if we are on that consciousness, we can have these advantages and many more. So I think with this, we finished today's class. And if you have any questions, yes, please feel free to ask, and I'll be happy to answer. Or I will just check if someone has, if there are any questions already on the chat box. I think so far there are none, but I'm sure there would be few. Soul size formula. It is mentioned in, I think, Shweta Upanishad, right? That shloka is uh, Keshagrasa, Keshagrasa, uh, Balagrasa, sorry. Hmm. Just a moment. Let me find it on internet from our. Hmm. So it is, yes, it is Shweta Upanishad, text chapter 5, text 9. The shloka is like this: Balagra Sata Bhagasya Sharada Kalpitasya Bhago Jiva Vigyaya Sa Cha Anandaya Kalpate. So Bal, the Agra Bhag, tip of the hair. Shatabhagasya means you divide into Shat, matlab, means hundreds, 100 part, and then Satyada Kalpitasya, and then further divide into 100 parts. So 1/10,000 part of the tip of the hair. Shweta Upanishad, chapter 5, text 9. Okay, then one more question. If we all are soul, why don't we remember our karma or any relationship which we did or had in our last body? Very good question. Hmm. Intelligent question. Now, see, if we could remember our earlier karma, it would be living hell for us. Living hell. We would not be able to live. Why? You say, why? Why? Because we made so many horrible things in the past. It is good that we don't remember that I was a pig and I was loitering in the street in the gutter. I was a cockroach and someone just killed me, and I was staying in dirty places, filthy places. What is this? Right. So Krishna is being so kind, he gives us Vismruti, Apohanam. Krishna says, I give forgetfulness, and from me comes remembrance. Krishna says in chapter 15, text 15, Krishna says, Vedesha Sarva, what is that sloka? Sarvasya Chaham Radhi Sannivishta Mattah Smruti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. From me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Apohanam means forgetfulness. So Krishna says that oh my dear friend, my dear soul, I give you forgetfulness so that your life will not be hellish. I make you forget all your past deeds. Otherwise, we will not be able to live, because it will be chaos that we remember everything. I remember I made so many mistakes. I did this, I did that. No. So the death means forgetfulness. Once you are dead, then you forget everything. Then fresh life, new life. You forget your father, mother, your this, that, your karma, all these things you forget. Even your last body also we forget that in last life, whether we were cow, we were human being, we were this, that, we don't know. Because Krishna makes us forget that. Krishna is so merciful that very mercifully he makes us forget all our past lives. That's how we see. Okay. Uh, if we kill body, so it is not like killing them really. A soul never be killed. So we did not actually kill someone. So why bad karma? Ah, very good. So this is a very famous analogy which people say that, oh, we are not this body. That means I can murder anyone. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, yeah. Like one criminal, when he was in a court and he showed this quote from Bhagavad Gita, right? He said that, you see, it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that the soul never gets slain, right? It is the body, and we are not this body, so I have not killed anyone because the soul never dies. So I am no guilty. So the judge will believe it? No, right? It's a very foolish proposition, right? So, because the soul has got some karma for which the soul has to stay in that particular material body for some years, 15 years, 20 years, 40 years, 100 years, whatever, whether it is in the form of an ant, a cow, a chicken, uh, goat, a sheep, a human, if we kill anyone, if we go against the law of nature, if Krishna and Krishna's agents, Yamraja or whomsoever, has given the sanction of the soul to remain in that particular material body, and we interfere with that law of nature, we have to be punished. So it is not so in civil laws, right? We are being hanged till death only if we kill a human being. But if you kill a cow or if you eat non-vegetarian food, it is okay. You are escaped. So these are the partial. These are biased laws. These biased laws exist in the state, in the government, but in the supreme laws, everyone is same. Everyone is Janata. Everyone is Praja. Everyone is Krishna's children, right? So if you kill a human being, or if you kill a cow, or if you kill even an ant, right, then you will be punished in the same way. If knowingly, if you kill anyone, right? If unknowingly, if you walk and if you kill an ant, that's not an offense because you don't know, right? It's like, what can you do, right? Right, when you even when you breathe, you kill so many organisms, and when you exhale also. So this is something which you cannot avoid, but knowingly, just for the satisfaction of our tongue, or because I hate my enemy, I will kill him, no, not allowed. You will be punished. Although we are not killing the soul, but we are killing the body, which is the cage for that soul for so many years, which is being given by prakriti, and we cannot interfere in the laws of prakriti, in the laws of nature. So I hope that is clear, Prabhu. Where the soul goes after death. Okay. So this was FAQ already. So based on the karma which we generate, the soul takes the next body. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran loke tajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitah. In chapter 8, text 6, Krishna says, uh, whichever state will whichever state of mind will leave the body, that state we will attain without fail. That means if the entire body in if the entire life we have thought of doing these that, and at the end of our life if we remember my dog, oh, I love my dog so much, I my pet dog so much, next body we will get pet dog. If entire life we have eaten non-vegetarian food like fish and eggs and this and that, right? Next life, we will get a non-vegetarian meat-eating animal like a tiger or a lion. So whatever consciousness we have when we leave, the soul leaves the body. When I say we, means soul. Soul leaves the body. We get that particular body, the same consciousness. And if we think of Krishna, we go to Krishna. Very simple. In the before that word, Krishna says that. Right? There is a sloka, very famous sloka. Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhava nati asti yatra sanshayah. Antakale chamameva. Okay, so I hope that answers the question, Prabhu. There are many things which distract us in this world, especially in this Kali Yuga. Therefore, how to concentrate and enhance our soul more in spiritual path of the divinity. Good. Yeah, true. In Kali Yuga, we get distracted always, right? So, the best solution for this distraction is mantra meditation, right? That will come in the last session when we chant this 16 letter word Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Man, that mantra will deliver our man, which is mind. Right? That is one way. Second, in order to do this more effectively, we need to be in association of devotees, right? Jaisa sang, vaisa rang, right? So if we will be in association with the good devotees, good company, then they would not distract us, right? If we will try, like for example, if we are living mostly with the company of drunkards or smokers or any sinful persons, then at some point of time we will also become like them. We will feel that this is okay, this is normal, right? So we have to be in association with devotees. Reincarnation is explained. Okay, it was more. Reincarnation is explained very well. If possible, give more examples or reference from Bhagavad Gita. Okay, in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 8, text 15 and 16, Krishna says, Mamupetya punarjanma, punarjanma, dukhalayam ashashvatam, napnuvanti mahatmana, sat siddhim paramam gataha. Krishna says. Hmm. Then, in another place, Krishna says, um, जन्म कर्म चैप्टर 4 टेक्स्ट 9 कृष्ण से जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेत्ति तत्वतः त्यक्ता देहम पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सो अर्जुन. So many places where Krishna has mentioned punarjanma, so you will find in Bhagavad Gita at many places. In the cases of reincarnation, only the human cases we all have heard. What about other animals? So basically, see, uh, everyone reincarnates. Everyone reincarnates, whether it is human, animal, whatever, right? Animals, see, basically we will see this in law of karma in more detail, right, in more explicit details, right, in chapter. I will promise you, session 5 will be a real nectar for all of us, because this is something which is like an eye opener for all of us, that oh, that law of karma works like this. Oh, it doesn't work like that, because many of us have some misconceptions, some miscalculations. So this will be all solved in the fifth session. But anyhow, to give a brief answer, animals, they don't have any karma. Animals, they don't generate karma. That is bhogi yoni. They're already suffering, because only humans can generate karma, because we have got the intelligence, we have got that special body by which we can generate karma, and this is the only body which can take us back to our original home, back to Vaikuntha, back to Golok Vrindavan, back to Krishna, back to Narayana, back to Vishnu. This is the only body. So even if we are in the animal body, we have to pass through all the species of life to reach to a human body, so that we can do bhakti and we can go to Krishna Loka, right? So animals, they don't have karma, they are bhogi only, they will just suffer. So if we do bad karma, we'll go back to animal kingdom, and we will do again, we will suffer, we will spend some time there, like that, right? So yeah, question: if we get another body and if it was animal, then we doesn't make choices. So what will be our karma? That's what I said, that we don't have any karma. So the choice to do karma is only in human body. So please choose wisely. Right? This is the first. Consider this is the first and last chance for us to do good karma, right? And to go back to Krishna, to go back to Him, right? Only one chance, right? Of course, it's not one chance. I mean, after millions and millions of lives, we will have another chance. So after this life, if we are good, then I mean, if we are okay, then we can get a not so good human body. If we are very good, then we will get a good human body. If we are bad, then we will go back to animal kingdom. Like it is mentioned in chapter 14, text 18, Urdhvam gachanti satvastha madhye tishtanti rajasa jaganya gunavruttistha adho gachanti tamasa. Sattva gun, rajogun, tamogun. If we will be in sattva gun, we will go up. Madhya rajogun, we will stay here, and tamogun, we will go down. Most of us currently are in rajogun and tamogun. So chances of us going down are very high. We will be either animal or a bird or a plant or these and that, and then we don't want to go into that. We don't want to risk ourselves. It's a good human body, we are all intelligent, we are Indians, we have Bhagavad Gita in front of us, then why to waste this precious human form of life? As simple as that. We should make the most of it. Read Bhagavad Gita and make our life successful. Simple. Finish the business of going back to Krishna in this very lifetime. Why to wait? Why to take risk? Because we don't know what will happen after we die. Right. So that is the intelligent choice which one makes. Prabhuji, suppose some animal is harming us as like a mosquito biting and we should not if mosquito is biting us, then put an all out and open the window, let the mosquito go. Please do not kill even an animal, even if the animal is actually harassing us, as you mentioned. So don't do this, right? So people, sometimes I have seen people having their electric racket of killing mosquito kill. That's it's an awful thing. Why should we do that? Why should we kill even the mosquito? Right? Because mosquito is also Krishna's child. As Krishna said, is my child. Right? So why should we do that? Krishna be happy because of my selfish, because the mosquito will not bite me, I will just kill? Yes, if you can apply some paste, you can apply some liquid which can let the mosquito go, right? If by mistake if you kill an ant, it's a different thing. If you stepped on an ant, oh, then you should apologize. Oh Krishna, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. That's it. But deliberately, if we are killing an animal, even if it is a mosquito, yes, it's a karma. We should not do that. This is higher understanding of karma, and this is very appreciable by Krishna if we are doing that. I kill a lot of mosquito. Will it be count in bad karma? Huh? Now, good question. See, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, text 66, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityaja. Just forget about everything. Mam ekam sharanam braja. Only surrender to me. Ultimate shelter, ultimate surrender. And aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. So, once surrender to Krishna, and all your bad karma, all your sinful activity, gone. Hmm. Krishna can do this magic. He is Krishna. He is Krishna. He can do everything. Right? So don't worry about your whatever you have done in past. Forget about it. Don't worry. Just surrender to Krishna, and He will take care of anything. Even if you have taken drugs, even if you have taken the most sinful, smoked, you have had drinks, you have done these, that, whatever. Just it's okay. Whatever has done has done. We cannot undo it, right? But now we have to surrender to Krishna, and then Krishna will, and then we should not commit these mistakes again. That should be the mood of a devotee. If everyone reincarnated, then what about the hell and heaven? Very good question. Very good question. Hmm. Hell and heaven are our guest house, temporary guest house, right? But this temporary guest house sometimes are for quite some time. If someone is really sinful, right, then before going to the next body, he goes to the hell, and there he suffers. If someone is has done really good activities, then he is promoted to Swargaloka and heavenly planets, and he can enjoy their Swargaloka or heavenly planets is like a credit card. Sorry. So, for example, I have a credit card where I have got 1 lakh rupees. So I go on swiping it, 5,000 today, 2,000 today, 200 today, 10,000 tomorrow, 15,000 day after tomorrow. Then after a week, after a month, after a year, what will happen? The balance will be zero, and then that's it. So Swargaloka, I have generated a lot of punya. I have got a lot of punya with me. Very pious activities, so many pious activities. So I will go in Swargaloka and I will spend some punya here, here. When all the punya quota is finished, no more Swarga. Now what? Now no more punya. Now what? Go back to material kingdom. Go back to material world. So once the kshine punye martyalokam vishanti, when the punya becomes kshina, finished, martyalokam vishanti means to enter. You enter into the martyaloka, mrityuloka, which is this, right? That's how it is. Where the Mahabharata happened, at what time, and who wrote the book, and how it transferred to all of us from so many long time. So we all know that Mahabharata was, it is not a mythology, it is a history. Just like Gandhi was a history, Hitler was a history, although we didn't see them, it doesn't mean they didn't exist. They existed, we know that. We hear from the authority, from our textbooks, right? So it's like that, it's a history. So Mahabharata is also a history. It's not a mythology. It approximately 5,000 years back, Krishna spoke this message of Bhagavad Gita. That means the same in the same duration, Mahabharata, this great Kurukshetra, all battlefield, it happened, right? That was the time. Who wrote the book, right? So, who wrote the book? So, Srila Vyasadeva, who is the literary incarnation of Krishna, he narrated the entire Mahabharata, in which Bhagavad Gita comes in Uttarakhanda. So, and then it has been transferred to us. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, we finished all the questions. Nice. Okay, so if I'm not able to give any answer up to your expectations, please forgive me. But if you would like to ask any more questions, I will be happy to answer. If you have any more questions, please. And these are very good questions, and I appreciate. And we should ask these kind of questions so that when the question is asked, right, uh, three types of people they get benefited. First, the questioner himself, right? First, the questioner himself, he gets benefited. Second, the one who answers, the speaker, he gets benefited as well because he realizes, he answers, so he clear. There are several doubts which is cleared. And the third is the audience. Everyone who hears also get benefited because these are the important questions. So, in this way, we should try and understand this. So, I hope this. I mean, there are no any more questions, I guess. If you have any questions, we can take one or two questions. I guess no, maybe. Okay. So, thank you very much, everyone, for your consistent presence in this session. So we have finished. We are halfway through. First, second, and third session we are halfway through. So we can spend 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. I will just stop the recording